Let me begin right here. Good morning or good afternoon to you, wherever you're listening from. Welcome to the Rude Boy Sound. Welcome to Tottenham, Hotspur, USA. And of course, if you look down there, that's me, DJ Paul. And I'm having some fun with this. It's the sixth day. We are on day six. And of course, I'm taping on day six at what time of the day it is. We're 5 hours away from, on this side of the United States. Obviously, Tottenham Hotspur USA is the big giveaway in the name of the channel there I'm doing this after at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so obviously it's advanced there in the afternoon. And so let me just say this. I don't hear too much coming from the segment that was yelling Daniel Levy out, Enoch out. I think for those, I'm not broad brushing those who I have not come in contact with. And you can have your reason. I've always said that for me as a fan is not to want to be the arbiter of how you do and how you do not support your club. That's your business. Collectively, though, we find ourselves in certain buckets where you can be a Daniel Levy out as it was then. You can be Daniel Levy in, and then you could be the third wheel, which is I don't really care, one way or the other, straddling the fence, if you might ask me, or just be neutral, which you're all entitled to. But what I'm looking at are the loud voices seem to go on really, really, really quiet. And my question would be, which I'm going to leave it lingering because I cannot answer that question for those who wanted Daniel Levy gone. I wanted Daniel Levy gone, but maybe for a different reason. Maybe I wanted him gone, but I wasn't going to get up every day and try to be a cult leader in pushing the narrative that everything that goes wrong, that the manager not making a tactical substitution is because Daniel Levy. And we got to that point where everything doesn't matter what a player does, what the manager do. It was all because of Daniel Levy. You could trace the manager making a bad substitution to the first day Daniel Levy was charged with being the chairman. You could put every single thing in that game to Daniel Levy being the face of the franchise, building the stadium. You could put it down to him selling Gareth Bale and Modric and firing Pochettino and all of that stuff you could put. That's where it is. That's exactly the problem on that day. Daniel Levy screwed the whole thing, signing Njai and Session. And Langley. You could find the solution for your problem. Everything at the club that happens, you can blame Daniel Levy for that. And so we got to that point wherein no one was listening, no one was paying attention. No one asked a question. What if Daniel Levy was following somebody's order? What if Daniel Levy wasn't the sole decision maker of how we spend the money, when we spend the money, how much money do we spend? We never bother to ask those questions because you know why? What Daniel Levy was doing for the board and the infrastructure and those players who it matters to most was having their way. They were reaping the dividend They were padding their wallets at the expense of the football. And so the face of the franchise, rightfully so, Daniel Levy, is the man to be blamed, was the man to be blamed. And so what is the question? Happens now that Daniel Levy is gone. Saddled us. And I'm putting the entire squad, the regime, as you might call it, back on Daniel Levy's tenure. If you were going to fire the manager, why let Daniel Levy do it? Bring in his own guy. If Daniel Levy was never going to be there, he has a boss. Why did Daniel Levy oversaw the transfer window, oversaw the hiring of everybody, including Charrington and Vinay and Lang, and bringing back Paratici? I personally think Lang should have gone with Scott Munn. Both are useless. Ask what Lang have done in football. Oh, he found Ollie Watkins. Whoopie damn do you. Mackenzie. What has Mackenzie done? Oh, he found Son. He was here with Aldo Worrell and Yang. Really? That is reason why we gave him the chief scout, because he found Son, or he was a part of getting Heung-min Son in? I'm beside myself just even thinking that we believe Mackenzie and Lang and a wandering nomadic Paratici was going to solve our problems in this window, because that's what I'm concerned about. Even though I'm talking about Daniel Levy, my concern is I don't hear from the people who think that removing Daniel Levy without a plan was good enough for the board, the likes of Joe Louis, Enoch, and his sons, his kids, his grown kids, and £100 million solve all the problems. 120 days from September to the 31st of December. We heard about the new direction that the club was being led away from the scourge of Daniel Levy, all of that 24 years worth of mismanagement of the football, not the club. The football is what, and where the emphasis was placed on when you talk about Daniel Levy, rightfully so, because I have news for you. I just discovered it in my rant that we are a football club. Yes, we are. And therefore, everything is supposed to be secondary to what we do. And the day when Daniel Levy said, let's turn our attention to football because football is all that matters, because we have done in the infrastructure building business. And the next day he was gone. And so, what was the plan after Daniel Levy? What is the plan? 120 days. And I keep hammering that. 120 days, because it's very significant. The year before, we're still on the Lange. The year before and the year before, just about the same time, October, November, injuries galore. We never brought in a player at the beginning of the window. We had 90 days to find players back then under the auspices of Lang. Nobody came in. Lang is still there. Paratici is still there. Vinay comes in. Charrington came in. Daniel Levy is gone. Why are we 6 days into the window and we have problems at the striker position? We have problems at the wing position. We have problems in the middle. midfield, and we also have problems at our fullback positions. I think the most served position right now, unfortunately, is the center backs. We have enough center backs to go around. But the fact of the matter is, we have no one to put the ball in the hole, in the net. We Americans love to say bucket. Put the ball in the bucket, right? We use our sports thing interchangeable. Basketball, football, soccer, But all jokes aside, is we think we know more than what's happening in the back. But the revelation, without anyone actually saying it, is that there is no clear plan. And if you have a plan, follow me on this one. I know Sava will love this because we both love to see. I personally don't know anyone who is in the back room of Aston Villa. I would have to go research it right now as I'm speaking to you. But you know what is significant about Aston Villa? You see the manager. You see what the manager wants to do. You see the temperament of the manager. And what do you see? You see the same thing on the pitch. Put that in reverse. It simply means that whoever's in the back room knows what is needed by the manager. What type of players is this manager wants for what he wants to do? And for me, he plays the simplest system in football, 4-4-2. He's going to press you. He's going to play from deep. And that has been it from day one. When he came in, talking about Unai Emery, the first thing he did, remember, Aston Villa was giving up goals like crazy. And the first thing he did, I'm not sure what formation they were playing, but the first thing he did, very first thing, was stop the goals. That is why when I look at Frank and we look at where we're coming from last year, there's something synonymous about what Frank is doing, was trying to do with the squad that he inherited. Stop the goals. The football, when you try to stop the goals, was never going to be pretty when you start to infuse that. If you don't have a player like Harry Kane, I hate that I have to go all the way back to invoke Harry Kane in the conversation, and Son, that you know that come hell or high water, they're going to get their goals. They're going to get their own. So no matter what's going on at the back and in between and up front, that you have surety and security in the fact that they both are going to get their due. And so when you look at Emery and how he built a team, and then you look at the players that he started, you can't tell the difference from starters to the bench because everybody is singing from the same book, the same page. You don't see that with us. We have a somewhat decent defense. Our midfield is a mess because between you and I, right now, pick 5 of us. I guarantee you that 4 out of 5 will pick a different starting 11. Just like that. And if we can't come together, if 90% of us are not sure on a match day who should start, who the starting 11 should have in there, what it should look like, then we have a problem. We have a massive, massive problem in personnel.